Welcome back to the Jason Reuter Coach Show here on the BCHS Bear Network. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. It's beginning to talk again this week about girls basketball as we prepare for the upcoming district tournament, which will begin this Friday for the Bearettes anyway, at McNeely County High School. Being joined by Coach Reuter as always. And Coach, I always like to let the coach introduce the special guest you brought along today.
I think we've made the turn now. This is our second time. So
Yeah.
We got Ashlyn Cretton, senior captain. We got Carsey Weber, a senior rifle lady over here. She's our standalone. She's our three-point specialist, and I know they've been on the show once this year. It's our second time, and I appreciate them taking some time out on their busy schedule to come in here. Appreciate you, and let's start talking some basketball.
Well, and we appreciate Mr. Troy and all his students here that make these shows possible each week. We appreciate them. We've talked about your past in the background where you played middle school and all that, so we're no need to rehash that today. The incentive right now for both of you as seniors, what is your biggest incentive? Where do you want to be in about 3 weeks?
State tournament.
At the state tournament at the Glass House in Murfreesboro. You've been there 3 straight years. This will be 4 straight for you guys and 5 straight for the team. And I haven't checked, Coach. I don't know if we've been there 5 straight years overall as a program. I have to check on that and see, because I know Smitty went a lot of times, but I don't know if he went 5 consecutive years. But
I'm gonna. You know your history. You've been around here longer than I have. I didn't even know where Cleveland, Tennessee was back in Smitty's glory years, but I'm going to bet he did because he went to so many. I may be wrong, but we'll find out. It'd be interesting to know.
yeah, it would be. And it's be 32 years, I think. We've been there. We've already been there 32, and we've been there more than any other team in the state. We got the winningest record of any team in the state, boys or girls. So I guess the incentive, as Carsey and Ashland here with us today, is to get back there and represent the B, as we call it, repping the B, and win another state title. Because you all were on the 2019 team when we won the state title. It's been a couple of years since then, so now it's time for Bears to win another, get our 7th gold ball against. Carsey, as you go into the late in the season like this, Coach referred to you as the gunner. You obviously are an extremely good outside shooter, and when you're on, you're hotter than a firecracker. Probably one of the best. Maybe how would you compare her to the outside shooters you've had in your progress? I don't remember anybody recently that.
Well, time will get away, and your memory will forget about. You don't really forget players, but you may forget
How good they were.
Yeah, we had some. I've had some really good shooters. Caleb Beavers back in the early years,
Yep.
and we've had Ryan Howard was a good 3-point shooter, but Emma Kate Brown was a good 3-point shooter. But I'm going to say this, just without any hesitation, I've never had a better catch and shoot 3-point shooter than Carsey Weber. I've never had a better catch the ball and shoot it without any hiccups or any hesitation. She's as good as, she may be the best, but I'm guarantee you no one's better.
Do you practice that 3-point shot a lot during the day? Or shooting is on your own. But after practice, do you hang around and shoot some, or you come in on your own and shoot? Or
Sometimes I will, yeah.
you don't learn to shoot like that without a lot of repetition, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Shooting can be learned, developed, I guess you could say. And Ashland, of course, we look to you as a stopper on defense, and you face some good ones. Sidney Mang's probably as good as anybody we've seen all year long on the opposing team. Probably the best player we've seen individually on an opposing team. But you're going to have an assignment. We don't know who we're going to play yet. Our tournament against, we're going to have Ottawa Walker Valley girls. We've played them twice and beat them twice. Obviously, they got some players who can score. So you take that as a challenge, I assume, that, hey, I got to be the one that slows them down at least and get some backside help and stuff like that. But that's a nice feeling, though, when you've done your job and you shut down the guy who's trying to beat you there.
For sure.
And you're going to be playing basketball at Carson. You already signed there for Coach Mike Mincy, yes. Alan Mincy keeps reminding me that's my nephew. Every time I see Alan, I had lunch with him yesterday, and that's his nephew there. But do you hear from him a lot? I mean, I'm sure he keeps in contact with him or his assistants do.
Well, he'll text me every once in a while. But he says that he wants to try to make it to one of our postseason games. He talks to all of the recruits from my grade, but he's really they're getting into tournament time too, so he's pretty busy.
Yeah, his priority's got to be focusing on the team right now that he's coaching there in Jefferson City at Carson Newman. A good program, a great campus there, a beautiful little school that I think you'll really enjoy going there. Coach, since we last had a meeting or a program, had a big win last Thursday at Cleveland High School. Had an even bigger one, senior day here, Saturday afternoon against Knox Catholic, a team that we played twice. They'd beaten us at their place. We beat them on a neutral court at Greenville tournament. And then, so this was a rubber match, I called it, and we come out on top there. Very good program, and here again, one of those type of games that you like. You played Cleveland, and then you played them back to back, and you had Walker Valley before that. So you've had a good closing part of the season. Games that you like to play to get you ready for the upcoming postseason. It's got to help you there.
Yes, absolutely. We played 3 games in 5 days. I think people that don't do this for a living or for competition like these girls do, and you know, we are certainly not meaning this disrespectful, but I don't think people understand it when you have 3 games in 5 days and then you have the emotional, you know, I don't think, unless you've played the game for a lot of years, you don't understand the roller coaster. You got Cleveland on, we had Walker Valley on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I know the game was a blowout, but that's still, these girls been playing against these girls their whole lives.
Yeah.
Walker Valley has no Cleveland, so they don't, and no seniors, so they have nobody that would be in the same class like Cleveland does with them. But so you get that, and then you top that with 2 days later you play Cleveland, and that's another emotional. You got to get up, and then of course we came out on the right side of those matchups. But then you come around and play the number 2 ranked private school in the state, who beat you by 3. I said was the most bizarre loss I've ever had as a girls head coach. We shot over 50% from the 3 and had 6 turnovers, had more offensive 6 turnovers, by the way, if you don't know out there in TV land, that's a pretty low number. Our goal is to try to have 12 or less. And I think on the year, we're averaging about, I can tell you what we're averaging. We're averaging right at 11. And we lost a game by 3 points. And I was furious about, I didn't have my team ready because we let a girl score 30 points. And lo and behold, she comes down here Sunday, and we knew who we had to stop. And this is no discredit to Ashland. She gets the toughest offensive player every game, unless it's a post player. But 90% of the time, it's a guard. And then she has 28 here on Sunday. But that was a hard 28. She took 21 or 22 shots, and
She was exhausted.
Ashland was
too.
exhausted, but she was exhausted.
She was exhausted. Both of you were.
Yeah.
But I think when she scored 28, but we held the rest of her team to 10. So it's hard to win consistently when you're counting on one girl to score that much. I mean, me and Travis Maines, her dad, we are good friends. He's very complimentary of us. You know, when he beat me, there's no grudges there. I wanted to beat him again. These girls know that I marked that game on our calendar, and it was a kind of grinder. If you remember, you were there broadcasting.
Yeah.
But I think you said maybe the bigger game was Knox Catholic. I'm going to have to disagree with you. The bigger game was Cleveland, because that's our crosstown rival, and it clinched us the #1 spot.
That's true.
Now, I would hate it for these girls to have lost on their senior night. Knock on wood, in the last 12 years, we've not lost on senior night. And a lot of times people schedule, it's kind of like homecoming. Sometimes you schedule someone that you know you're going to beat.
Yeah.
But we've never done that. It just happens to be that usually the team that we play on senior night is someone of not top caliber. And this time we had a top caliber, a state runner-up last year in private and ranked #2. So now here we get into the tricky part. We play on Sunday, we don't play again until Saturday. Saturday, I'm sorry. We played Saturday to Saturday. That's 7 days. So we give them a couple days off, and which is unusual this time of year to get 2 in a row. But my years of doing this told me that it was the right thing to do, because now, you know, sometimes, every once in a while, the best practice is a day off, and they got 2 in a row. But I think they know what's ahead of them, and sometimes you can lose from overtraining. I have read where more gold medals have been lost when you get down towards the end. The people that are all in it to win it. There's been more gold medals lost from overtraining than undertraining.
I can believe that.
So, because you think working hard, more. Well, sometimes these legs got to be fresh,
Point of no return there.
and that head's got to be fresh, and it's my job to level that out. So we went pretty hard yesterday. I think they'll tell you that. And look at them, they're wanting to see what we're going to do today. We're going to go pretty hard today, and then we're going to simulate a game type situation. And see, we're waiting on. We don't know who's going to win.
Right.
But I don't really care who wins. You girls care? Do you want to play Ooltewah or Walker Valley?
It don't really matter.
Doesn't really matter to you.
No.
We're not going to overlook them.
You better not.
You could bring up 1984 Bradley Central Bearettes, who lost to Cleveland,
Who had 2 wins
who had 2 wins.
and eliminated.
Knocked
Bears.
Bradley out. If we lose this game, we're not done. But we're going here, and what means we're going on the road,
Yeah.
probably to Coffee County or Warren County. So we just got to play them one at a time. And you know, I still get excited at tournament time. Like, this is what you play for. Really, if you look at it in another way, these other games, as much as you want to win, and you got to enjoy it and stop and smell the roses, I should say. We're 24-3. I think we've played we played not some teams that weren't very good. We played some teams that were really good, and we played some in the middle. I don't know. Is this the toughest schedule we've ever had? Probably not, but it's certainly not a cupcake schedule.
Not
so,
easy.
so I like where we're at. Guy asked me yesterday in the interview, what's one thing I hope my team does from the last game and through the tournament, and I said, stay healthy.
Yeah.
If we just stay healthy, I'll take my chances with Ashlyn Cretton and Carsey Weber and Hannah Jones and Sloan Carpenter and Erica Swick and the girls coming off the bench. I'll take my chances.
We've seen our share of injuries in tournament time when Anna Walker got hurt. Jemima Williams got hurt and all that. We don't need to see it. Let's go back to senior day. Somebody I want to touch on. Siler Falcon. I was emotionally moved out there when she was out there. I know she had everybody squalling.
Yeah.
I did not know. Radio, I just got silent. I couldn't even talk for a few minutes. But
That's tough.
what a thrill it had to be for her. And she missed her sophomore year, then her senior year. And Coach Maines, he did a classic thing for letting her dress out and score a bucket there, and then they got a return bucket. But
Yeah, I didn't even get to ask him. I meant to call him the night before, but I didn't ask him till the day of. He said, Coach, whatever you want us to do, we'll do it. And some people may think that's not really how the game should be played, but I saw somewhere years ago where a girl was maybe a couple points short of a scoring record, and she got injured. Do you remember that? It was on national TV. I can't remember. It's been several years.
I don't.
So they let her come in and score a couple buckets to break a scoring record. I don't know if I agree with that. But in this case, I asked her, I've only had 2 of these. Chelsea Summers
Yep.
and Siler Falcon. In Chelsea's case, we just got the tip, let her tipped it back to her. She got it. She held it for 2 seconds, and we stopped the game. In this case, Siler said she wanted to score, so these girls know Siler as well as I do. When she starts getting on something, you either got to tell her to be quiet or just give in. So I just told her, all right, we'll let her score. And we let Knox Catholic score, and then we had an inadvertent whistle, and then we played on. So, but she's, Siler has had more than her share of injuries, and I don't think, she obviously had bigger plans for her future basketball, but at this point, I think she's as emotional as she was Saturday, and we all were. I think she's at peace in her heart. She got accepted into the University of Tennessee yesterday. Am I right? Mm-hmm. My phone kept buzzing, like ding, 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 ding. So she got invited, and that's a big deal to get accepted into UT because everybody doesn't. You just think that
That's right.
it's a pretty tough deal, but I think good Lord's got big plans for her, just like these girls. You've touched on that. She's got a full scholarship to Carson Newman, Ashlyn does. Carsey has a full ride offer to Brian over in Dayton, and a couple more that are showing interest. So it's yet to see what Carsey's going to do, but that's kind of been a pattern here. I want to try to put a championship in one hand, and I want to try to put a scholarship in the other hand. Is what we want to do, and that doesn't happen for everybody, but I've got a theory. If you just keep on doing things the right way, trying to do your best, and keep working, things usually work out for the best. And I couldn't be any prouder than I am of these 2 right here, and Siler, and Caitlin Leffert.
Right.
Caitlin Leffert, man, there's a senior we'll have her on the show next week.
Okay.
But There's a girl came in and made 3 big threes and that
Took 2 charges.
2 charges. She takes more charges. Is she
She's got
ahead
to
of you
lead
now?
the team in charges.
I don't know.
I don't know. This is,
Probably
I've
close.
made comments.
Well,
She's our best charge taker.
Well,
But Caitlin has been giving you a run for the money here lately, Ashlyn. I don't know.
and hers were on back-to-back possessions for them too, right when we had to have them. And then she hits a 3-ball
Yeah.
in that too, on that run.
Yeah, she certainly give us, there's been 2 games this year, I think Caitlin Leffert ended basically, and that was the Cleveland game here. You guys remember?
Yeah.
She had 3 threes in the second half, and she pretty much ended that Knox Catholic game.
Yeah, sure did.
I know we still had to milk the clock for another 3 minutes,
She
but
put out of reach, I think. Well, Carsey, I'm not putting you on the spot here. Coach mentioned you got a full ride opportunity at Bryan, and I saw the Bryan coach up there at Greenville. He had your corner there, and they were still highly ranked at the time. I don't know.
they still are.
Still are?
Yeah, yeah.
Good program, NAIA program there. Do you have any idea of your timetable for deciding when you're going to accept the offer, or?
I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm just going to keep my options open and just.
I think that'd be a good fit for you there. I do.
No pressure or nothing.
No
Carsey,
pressure.
You know, it's, there's a lot of
It's
people.
your life, you know,
Yeah.
you gotta make a decision.
You know, nobody's story is the same. I told these girls just recently, everybody's story is different. Like Ashlyn's story here at Bradley High has been different than other people. And then, you know, we live in a time everybody wants to put all the, look at me, my life is wonderful. It's not all a box of cherries. You got ups and downs. And these girls have came through adversity, and both of them not starting till their senior year. And here you are. I'm bragging on the program and the history here. 2 girls that played a lot. Ashlyn played more than Carsey, actually. But here they are getting full scholarship offers, and they didn't get them until going into their senior year.
Well, that is unusual, really.
Well, it's not unusual. It's just it just shows you the path that some people want. We want instant, and they have kept working and kept chopping away, and here's what they've got. So that's a testimony to younger girls. You know, people see all this glamour. You know, everybody's not going to get an offer their sophomore year. Not many. I've only had 3 girls get a offer their sophomore year. And then, you know, we're in a different time, too. You realize a lot of these schools, because of COVID, they're backlogged.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that much, girls? You know, there's a lot of girls that came back and played another year of basketball. So now the coaches may not have as many scholarships to offer. So we're in uncharted territory when it comes to recruiting.
Yeah. What's been the biggest challenge as a Bearette this year? I'll ask both of that question. We're 24-3. We've lost to Catholic. We lost to Stewart's Creek. And we lost that team out of Kentucky up there at Andrew Johnson.
Ryle.
Ryle. Larry A. Ryle High School, I believe it's called there. One of the top-ranked teams in the state of Kentucky. So you've had 3 losses against extremely good competition, best competition we've seen this year. As seniors, you're the captain, so you have to ride herd over the other girls, you know, make them behave. I'm sure they're misfits, and you know, I'm just kidding. I know these girls personally, and they're all great, sweet girls. But Ashlyn, as you look forward to moving, you know, into your next stage of your life, what's been your biggest challenge this year, you think, in leading the Bearettes? And Carsey, you be thinking about this too, as a senior.
I don't know. I mean, we all get along really well.
I just want to ask you about team chemistry.
Yeah.
It's obvious to me that it's good.
Yeah, and I've told Coach Reuter before, I said this year, like, we might be the closest we've ever been. Like, as far as all grades, we all get along really well. So that's not a problem. I don't really know. I mean, we had, like, times in the season where we played, like, a lot of, like, not very good teams at one time, and then we go into the Christmas tournament and we're playing really good teams. So, like, just our schedule being like that might be difficult, and I think that having the Knox Catholic game scheduled when it was a good time right before tournament time to get us prepared.
And the Cleveland game fell weird because it got delayed from the January weather issue.
Yeah,
there.
month, put off for a month.
Yeah.
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 I don't know we've ever come down to the last district game playing Cleveland.
No, I mean, if you recall, last year we played back-to-back games.
Well, that's true.
The
Yeah.
weather delayed, but this earlier in the season, you know, in January, I think, even then.
Right.
After actually fell on back-to-back nights. you've coached boys and girls both. Is there a difference in your mind, how you handle them, or yeah,
I've been asked this question 1,000 times at least, and
there's 1,001 then?
my reply after doing it a few years, I feel like I'm still coaching basketball. That doesn't change a whole lot. Like fundamentally, the same fundamentals apply in girls as it does in boys. I will tell you that girls are. I had a good friend, somebody that I really trust a lot, one of my top 5 friends in the world. I'll put him in that. I'm not going to leave his name out of here, but he came to me at the end of my first year coaching the girls. He said, Jason, I know you. You're not a mean person. You would run. I know you would run in front of a truck to save one of these girls. He said, but when you walk over some of these girls at 6'7", and whatever I weighed at the time, I think it was about 20 pounds lighter, but he said, a girl may feel a little intimidated by that.
Yeah.
And I've been coaching boys so long, if God hadn't put me coaching AAU girls with my daughter, Rebecca, I probably wouldn't be sitting here with these two right now. But he was working on me that I didn't even know about. I was the boys' assistant here. And you know my story. I was with Kent Smith for 12 years, and we had a great run. We went to 5 state tournaments, 2 silver basketballs. And I occasionally talk about that to them, but that was, so I think the difference was you got to get girls to trust you. And if they trust you, and if they know that you care about them, even though you may be critical of them, then I think a girl will run through a wall for you, maybe even harder than a boy.
Okay.
And how many times have you rode down the road and seen a 5-on-5 boys game going on? You've seen that before. Pickup ball. Mm-hmm. How many times have you rode down the highway, maybe in a big city or somewhere, and seen 5-on-5 girls play?
None that I can think of.
Even you. Can y'all think of that?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when I'm telling them something, a guy in his mind, and I'm not being critical of guys. I'm just thinking sometimes if a guy thinks, well, if I can beat you, then I know more than you. Yeah. But a girl I may be the source. I may be able to correct their mistakes easier because they're not correcting. If that makes any sense, they're not correcting. They're not causing as many bad habits. I may be the only source of information they have, and I guess their credibility is not, can I beat you on the playground or not? Yeah. Their credibility is right here, yeah, and championships. And we're going after 12 of these in a row. I want this one. I'm going to say it right here on TV, on the Bearettes show. I want this trophy, this one right here, as bad as any of the other ones that we've got. You understand what I'm getting at? You're not careful. We've won 11 in a row.
Yeah, I know you have.
I'm not bragging. We've not lost one of these since I've been coaching. But this one right here is the most important one, the next one. And the day I get where it's not like that, but a lot of people want to win on Friday night, but what are you willing to do to prepare to win on Friday night? And I'm asking these girls, we got the state championship, I believe, is in March, help me out, March 13th, 14th, right in there.
The week of spring break, whenever that falls.
It's the second week. I'll look it up right here. You got, today is February the 16th?
16th.
We got less than 4 weeks. 4 weeks. What would it take for someone to beat the Bearettes? And we know when you play in high stakes games, I've only got 1 gold ball. But I've coached when my years with Kent Smith, 5. My years with the Bearettes, 7. I've been in 12 state tournaments and got 1 gold ball. But this team right here, there's a lot of teams that could beat us, but I think I'm coaching a team right now, Gary, that could, if they stay healthy, and a few breaks go our way, we could beat anybody in the state of Tennessee. We could be the state champions.
I agree with you. I think you're right on there. Bearettes, we've talked about the history. This is our 38th consecutive region tournament, 64 of the last 65 years. And we didn't really even have a girls' state tournament until 1958 because Some areas of the state were playing 5-on-5, some playing 6-on-6. So once they finally said, okay, we're all going to play 6-on-6 and play it way to the late 70s. Until then, there wasn't really what you could call it. There
yeah.
was an old state tournament. And
I took over the Bearettes. I noticed my wife had a relative. Her name was Aunt Mim was her go-by name, but Miss Easterly. She was married to Bob Easterly. A lot of people may know him, but she played for the Bearettes, and we brought her back to a game.
Mm-hmm.
This was my first year coaching the Bearettes, and we had to bring. They were saying she was the oldest living Bearette. She had a charm on, and she had a bracelet. On that bracelet she wore every day, she had a little charm on that bracelet. It was region champs for the Bradley
Really?
Central, like 1930 something.
Yeah, I remember that night she was here.
Okay.
She was here.
And that's as far as it went, girls. There was no state tournament. But that night caused a big firestorm, because then we had somebody say, well, my grandmother's older than Miss Easterly, and then we had 2 or 3, and we had 4 or 5. So that was fun to go back in history and learn about. And I'm just blessed to be coaching a program that basketball matters. And as long as I got girls like this playing for me, then it's a pleasure.
Well, and looking back, and I've done a lot of research, Bradley, there's many, many years that we could have won another state title if it had a girls' state tournament, because we had some unbeaten years. I mean, 25 wins, 25-0, but there's nowhere to go. Region was over.
Back in the 40s, early 50s, yeah.
40s, 50s there.
And when there's a gap there during the war years, was there a gap maybe?
Well, there wasn't. Some schools weren't playing high school girls basketball back. We started 22, 23. You know.
Yeah.
This is our 100th year, actually. This season is our 100th season of Bradley Central girls basketball. And if you look at, we've got 2,300 something wins. We're averaging better than 23 wins a year, and there's nobody close to that with 100 years behind them. So it's just a legacy.
Well, they didn't play as many games either back in.
No.
Yeah.
No. When we actually the first season started, I think we played 3 or 4 games. You know.
That sounds like a 24-game average wins, but there was, yeah, like you said, there was years they only played like 15 games.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Sure was, and just talk about wins. We've played 2,800 wins, all 2,800 games total.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a legacy that's out there, and as long as we keep winning 25, 30 games a year, nobody's ever going to top our most wins record, because they can't catch us. We just keep building on that record there and getting back to state. But it's going to be a fun tournament. You got to take them one at a time, one possession at a time, actually. And I know you mentioned this to the girls the other day, but bears repeating here. Anything can happen. If you look at that 1 year in those 65 years we didn't make the region, when Cleveland high school girls upset Jim Smitty on this very floor out here, it was called the Bradley Fieldhouse at the time in 1984, beat us 43-41 in a game that they had coming in, won 2 games the entire season. So it just shows you anything can happen. You look at District 6 last night, the boys team already had won 4 games, upset the number 1 seed, knocked them down the losers bracket. So things can happen. I know you girls prepared for that. So you'll be giving it your best effort, and man, we can't wait to see you play Saturday, 2 o'clock at McMinn County against the winner of Oodwalla and Walker Valley. So it should be fun.
Yep, looking forward to it. It's an exciting time, and I know these girls are going to give me their best.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have that.
Yes, you are.
A lot of coaches are probably have teams, and this doesn't mean they're bad people. It's just there's teams that are ready, they're looking to turn the uniforms in. I'm asking for 3.5 more weeks out of these girls, and they'll never regret giving their all. They're going to give everything they got. I know they will. It's just the way they're wired.
Let's hope it takes us to the glass house and see what we can do when we get over there.
Yep.
Carson Weber, Ashton Crittenden, thank you both as seniors for being here. Thank you for everything you do representing Bradley, not just on the basketball floor, but in your life out here in public. Make us proud to be Bearettes. Coach Reuter, we will see you again next week. Trevor Walker on the cameras here, appreciate him, and Josh in the control room, I appreciate him, Mr. Troy, and all the guys. Until next time, we'll say God bless for now, and go Bearettes.